You are looking at a 1-ton dually Chevy S-10. Yep. That's not something you usually hear in the same sentence, but that's what we have here. 16 short days ago, this was your run-of-the-mill extended cab, short bed Chevy S-10. Today, she's ready to do a little bit more work. Well, not today, but the rear end swap is finished, and in this video I'm going to show you how Henry, myself, and some just basic tools took this 1/4 ton truck and turned it into a 1-ton truck. At the end of the video, we will go through and break down kind of a recap of all the specialty parts I had to buy to make this happen. There's no guide on how to do this. This was a figure it out as you go. If I had known in advance what I needed, this could have been a one weekend deal. But I had to order stuff, wait for it to come in, wait till the next weekend. Anyway, so we'll break that down. I'll leave links to where all these specific parts are, where you can get them, and what the total cost is at the end of the video. Spoiler alert, it was cheap. Way cheaper than you would think to swap out the factory rear end with a 1-ton dually rear end. Alright, she's pretty well lubed up. Now, grab some. We're going to go down to the donor vehicle. See how this works out. Some of you may recognize this little girl. This is the Cobra. My very first Dodge motorhome, and what started a trend that I'm embarrassed to show you more of. Ow. So there's got to be critters in here. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna pull the rear end out of this thing, and I don't want to do it here in this spot, because this spot is not where big heavy vehicles go to die. If we have trouble, we'll do it right here. But what I want to do is drive this down on the other side of Chevy down there, back pasture. That way she's not an eyesore more than she already is. What we got going on here? Peacocks are getting big. So yeah, if we have to, we'll do it right here, but we're gonna try to get it running and driving just long enough to baja down to the back. This is taking entirely too long. Oh, trees trimming. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone today. This is the sketchy part. We're going downhill. Good job, Henry. He's working that brake. Oh, he's going faster than I am. It's alright, we're good. Oh boy, brakes work for sure. Alright, Hen, let off the brake, gotta get up a hill. Alright, so here's where we're at. I'm down here getting all the leaf spring hanger, shackle, perch things loose, busting off the shocks. I'm about to take the drive shaft apart, and then it should be kind of just loosely sitting in here. Then we're going to go back there and we're going to jack it up, put it on blocks, then come back in here and run these bolts the rest of the way out. And I'll be honest, that ultra power Harbor Freight impact has just been ripping these things out. I haven't had a single issue with any of these rusty bolts. I guess there's a first time for everything. All right, so I'm going to finish the drive shaft, and then we're going to get this thing up in the air. Okay, so we couldn't get it jacked up high enough to clear the pumpkin, so we took the wheels off with a jack. onto the differential. So now we should be able to let the jack down. And this axle should hit the dirt if we didn't miss any bolts. We'll see here in a second. You remember how to get that off? There you go. Yeah, it took the weight. There you go. Henry's a pro.
We should have put it on this side and middle.
Well, Henry, no.
You're the one that did it. So we got to jack it up some more?
The middle is right here.
I know, but you were way over.
You had to get that U-bolt.
What are we at?
All right, here comes the jack down. Come on, Axel, come out of there.
How are you gonna get the jack out of it after you drop it?
I'm gonna shake it real hard.
Okay.
Holy shit! Did you see the whole truck move?
Yes, I did.
Hang on, we need to get this blocked better or something. This whole thing this thing lands on the ground, we're gonna have a hell of a time. Looks like the axle's coming out though.
Well, it's sitting on the center block over there on the other side.
But not on this one.
Well, almost. It's got about half an inch.
Well, the problem was it hit those blocks and it started to go sideways.
The jack is gonna get this bitch in.
Henry did it. I didn't even touch it. Oh, that sucker's heavy.
Yeah.
And that hub is locked up, so it doesn't roll. But, boy, it's going to be way too big for that S-10. That thing is huge.
You got white.
We're about to find out what it's going to look like. Okay, cool. Okay, the bumperless Smurf is back in the shop. Our 1-ton Mopar Dana 60 Spicer. I don't know what these are. It's in the shop. Should have cleaned it. Too late now. That kicked my butt. So next, Henry's going to show us how to remove a S-10 bed. He said it shouldn't take him any more than 10 minutes. Luckily, we've only got 3 bolts that have been soaking. So it should go pretty easy. I guess I should have backed the trailer up to this if we're going to be done so fast. Henry's got the last of the harness taken off. We're about to be bedless. Well, once we snip these grounds, now we're going to be bedless. All right, so here's where we're at. We took the bed off. That was super easy. Like I said, I thought we were missing, we were missing one. Bed mount, bolt, whatever. So we're gonna continue to tear this down. We've let these bolts soak in some penetrant. We're gonna start ripping it out. And then we're gonna get this rolled over. One thing I found out, I thought this was maybe a Dana 60. It's actually a Dana 70, which is the heavier duty version. I know it's a 70 because there's a 70 stamp right on the back. It was under some dirt and stuff though, so cut me some slack. All right, this one was a bigger pain in the butt to break free than the D70 in the dirt underneath that giant motorhome, but Henry finally got it. I think we're loose. Han, you want to lower that jack stand and see if she'll roll out of here?
Do it.
I think we've got, I already realized we forgot the brake line. That's okay. I'll let her down. Let's see if she, that U-joint doesn't want to let go, even with caps off, but that's fine. Let's get that brake line. All right, now we're free. We got a differential vent and a brake line that we didn't get, but hang on, we got to clean it up. Okay. That looks good. I guess. Oh God, it's gonna run me over. Here. Henry, we need that inside.
I know. We gotta figure out a way to get this thing out there.
I don't know where we need it yet. Let's just leave it right there. Perfect. Okay. Thing's rusty.
It's worse than the camera.
It is worse than the camper. Our bump stops rotten and wallered out, rusted out. Our leaf spring mounts are just complete trash. So we're gonna take off all the stuff we're not gonna use on the new one and get this cleaned up, put some paint on it, I guess. All right, old rear end is completely disassembled. Cool thing about this is this axle is actually gonna go on the back of this truck for the tandem build later. And this monstrosity is getting close. Obviously, we're gonna have to loosen the leaf springs, the U-bolts. We're gonna have to suck it in about 3 inches, about 1.5 inches on each side to catch the S-10 frame rail. Not exactly sure how my leaf spring bolts are going to engage just yet. We haven't got it pulled up under there for a couple reasons. But next, we're gonna just get this thing as clean as possible. It's filthy dirty. I mentioned this is a Dana 70. You can see the 70 stamped right there. So we're gonna get it as clean as we can, and then we'll come back. Rear end's a little clean. Our batteries died, so we decided let's slide the new rear end under there and start figuring out how we need to make new leaf spring accommodations. So I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna bust off these hangers that the motorhome used on the front, because I think we'll be able to sneak into the factory spot actually. And then I think we're gonna take those and put them on the back, because even though this one's fine, but this one's all rusted out on this side. So that'll go into the factory location, that'll come in the back, we'll weld it on, and then we will need to loosen the leaf springs and slide them over until, so they're lined up. Yep, that's pretty much it. Henry, what's next? This is your project. Don't act like you don't know what's going on.
Springs are good. That'll be loosened up.
Man, that thing looks nasty.
I know.
What a fat ass. I know you're into that kind of thing, Henry.
I like the fat asses.
God dang, Henry. This is a YouTube video. Henry wants to show off how clean he got that leaf spring. I think that's presentable.
Brand new.
Usable anyhow. So what looked like a lot of rust, I think it's just mostly dirt. And some rust, of course. Mopar. Whatever those numbers mean. 66B? Heavy. Alright, so we managed to get the front end to the factory leaf spring location. My plan to use, well, I didn't really have a plan back here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to retain the factory leaf spring hanger. This was actually inverted and on the front side in the motorhome. Now we're gonna flip it, and I made a really precise scribe right here on the frame. And see, on that side, she doesn't hold bushing anymore. So that really needs to come out anyhow. So we're gonna cut that out, and then we're gonna, well, I say Henry's gonna weld this in right there, and we're just gonna hang. This thing's gonna set up like a monster truck. Sheesh. We're gonna have to put a huge lift on the front.
Yep.
This thing's gonna look. This thing's gonna drive like this, nose dove.
You're gonna be digging.
Pervert. So when we were taking apart this driver's side, we had some issues. The leaf spring bolts were just seized to the inner metal sleeve of the bushing. And so we actually had to cut this leaf spring mount out. You see, we had to notch it. So basically it fell out. We had to do that on both sides. So now when we're going back in to reattach our new leaf spring, obviously we've got a problem. So what we're gonna try to do is take a big washer with a large surface area and weld it to a smaller washer that matches the bore of the bolt perfectly. We're gonna weld these together and weld that on there and basically just reconstruct the damage that we did already. No big deal. Then we'll probably have to, like, I don't know, I guess, no, we'll just leave it like that. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up, get it as straight as possible. That way we, you know, we want this to be flat up against there, and we'll do the same thing on the back, but okay, that's the plan. All right, y'all smelling what I'm stepping in now? So you know we'd had no leaf spring mounting hole. Took a couple fat washers, welded, tapered it in, kind of stitched them together, and then we feathered it into the original bracket. Not the prettiest. I probably need to run the drill through there and make sure that's still circular. I think I kind of got a little bit too close to the edge there, but I can guarantee you the other side's not going to look that good. Well, because you know, you're not going to see it. Now we'll be able to jump to the back, get that last leaf spring mounting location in place, and once we have that done, then we can bring the rear end back forward. Well, before we got to cut off the shock mounts because we're going to have to reposition those. Bring this forward, and then we'll see where our spring pads need to go. We're going to let the leaf springs tell us where they want to be versus me just trying to guess. One thing at a time. All right, so it's the critical time of setting pinion angles. So as you can see here, we have a negative 1.1 to negative 1.15 degree pinion angle on our differential. Ooh. And we had a positive one coming off of the output shaft of the transmission. Based on the minutes of research I did, that's what you want. I spaced out I'll show you how I did the spacing on the, basically I went directly to the hubs and measured both ways between the edge of the leaf spring and the backside of the hubs. And, well, I'm going to take one more measurement from a reference point, maybe the cab to the leaf spring or the, we'll see. But we are pretty close. What I'm trying to say is I think I'm going to go ahead and weld in the spring perches, spring pads. That way when my U-bolts and shocks get here, I don't got to get out the welding gear and do all that crap. I'll just be ready to drop them on and cinch them down. Okay. See, we measured. If it rides like shit and vibrates all over the place, blame the internet, not me. Okay, spring pads are welded in. Don't look too close, little rascals. This thing has been a bear to get lined up. Luckily, we've got a cherry picker. My brother Jeremy left me. Thanks, buddy. And we were able to get the frame up in the air and kind of rotate and shift. And I think that we're pretty square. We're square enough. Now it's time to cut the drive shaft to length. I have done the calculations. I need to cut 5 inches out of this thing. So I'm just going to cut it probably right in the middle and take 5 inches out. Then I'm going to put it on my drive shaft alignment tool. And what that does is it rests in that and it cradles it and it, helps you get it lined up. I'll tack it, and I'll grind it, and I'll rotate it, and I'll tack it, and I'll grind it, and I'll rotate it. Once I have it true, square, between here and here, then I'll just go around and I'll weld it, and then grind it. Then we're going to put it back on the truck. And then as soon as I get my U-bolts in the mail that will be here tomorrow, we'll be able to back this thing out of the shop. So I'm going to cut this drive shaft with the confidence that I do not deserve to have. And I'm going to weld it up with even less earned confidence. But, this thing, it doesn't need to go far or fast. I'm building this thing to move a welder around the property. And so I really just need it to handle the weight. That's it. That's what this is all about. All this work. Why did I go through all this work? Well, that's all you got to do. Just chuck it up in your chop saw and just cut out what you don't need. So far, this is easy. I need to open a custom drive shaft business, I guess. Okay, here at the custom drive shaft speed shop, I didn't feel like the purlin was giving me quite enough. Yeah. So what I did was I took 2 pieces of angle iron and I sandwiched the cut drive shaft. I don't know if it's perfect, but that's probably as close as a hillbilly's gonna get with some ratchet straps and 2x4s and some angle. So here's what we're gonna do now. I even chamfered the edge a little bit. I'm basically a pipe liner. So I'm gonna put a tack weld. We'll loosen the straps, we'll roll it over. Tack weld. You get the gist. We're pretty much there. Look how laser straight that is. All right, well, we cut probably 5. Nah, that's got to be at least 9 inches out. And she looks fine. I mean, it's probably not laser straight, but look at this thing. It's straight enough. So I'm going to slap some paint on it, let that dry overnight. When we get back tomorrow, I'll be able to stab it in there, bolt it on there. I think it's the same size. I guess I should have measured. Damn it. That'd be a shame if I could have cut that off and put the other end of the other drive shaft on there. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. I think it's probably close to the same size. So tomorrow is going to be a big day. Drive shaft's going in, U-bolts going on, shocks are going on. This thing should be drivable tomorrow. We're actually also getting the new brake line tomorrow. So we may be able to actually take this down the road. Getting close anyhow. Okay. Oh, hang on, Hen, before you... Oh, I'll be dipped. We just got to put it on real loose and respectable like. So we are about to test fire the truck now that the drive shaft is connected. Gotta love the side posts. Oh, this little bastard may not start. Remember the battery was...
It was kind of giving us a little trouble.
Yeah?
We got your little chargers.
Yeah, you know how good that thing is. Okay, so we're neutral, right, Hen?
Yeah, hang on. I'll make sure.
We got the drive shaft in. We got the stuck brake undone, and we got the U-bolts on. So now we should be able to test and see if the rear wheel spins. We're on jack stands, sort of. Go ahead, Hen. Okay, go ahead and put it in first gear. Slow. Henry's looking at me funny. Oh. Oh. What happened?
Oh, did you say turn it off?
No. Okay, so we kind of got to a stopping point. We got both the drums pulled off, bearings pulled out. We're going to refresh the brakes. The pads are in really, or the shoes are in really good shape. I don't know if I want to mess with those, but we've got a spring kit and we'll just start digging in. We got the rear end cover off. We're looking at 410 gears as denoted by the 4110 markings on the ring gear. So we're gonna let that drain out real good. Everything in there looks pretty fresh. The only stuff that looked crusty was inside the drums and inside the, well, this stuff was just caked. So we'll probably replace those seals too. But we don't have those parts, so we got to order them. Be a couple days. Also, my shock mounts aren't going to work. Shocks came in, but these aren't going to fit, so we got to make some custom ones. But we were hoping to do that. All right, guys, I know I haven't been showing a lot. It's because I've kind of just been throwing the dice at it and winging it. Because we're taking old Mopar parts and putting them on semi-old GM parts, nothing's really fitting the way that I would want or expect it to. Well, not expect it to. Hope it would. So we've got some shock mounts that aren't working, so I've got those on order. Our brake lines, even though I've got the new brake lines in, they don't fit here, so I'm waiting on that. I didn't plan on rebuilding the brakes, but guess what? Now I am, and I'm waiting on a couple parts. I've got the new shoes, I've got the new springs, but I'm waiting on like the tensioner and I don't know, the little star wheel. Oh, and the cylinders. I'm waiting on the brake cylinders. So I can't finish that. We got the new diff cover on. That looks pretty cool. Not necessary, but I wanted one with the bottom mount with the rear drain plug, which is, under there. Because there's a lot of dirt and grime in this. We're going to run it for a while, and then we'll probably drain it and reservice it just because I want to get that cleaned out. We're going to have to run some square tube across for our new shock mounts because these don't work. Going to have to weld that in, weld the new shock perches. These are Amazon units, fairly cheap, 1/4 inch, so nice and strong. In the meantime, we've been cleaning up wheels, getting them prepped and primed. We cleaned them up real good. We taped off the outside ones, of course. And you won't be able to see this. We'll look out here anyway. Cleaned up the old drums, got those painted. All that, I'm only showing you that because the next time I come back, we should be getting close to ready to roll. Now it's just kind of odds and ends, finishing the brakes, getting the axle gaskets, which go between the brake drum assembly, the hub, and the outside of the axle, the full float axle, cap, shaft thing. So we're going to be ready to just back this old fat turd out. So that's the update for now. All right, old Flasher cut some holes in the frame here. So we had some old drill pipe laying around. So we cut some 2.5-inch holes in the frame. Hey, Rolly boy, simmer down. Put a dent in my fine new pickup truck. Because these shock mounts wouldn't work, we needed a new place to relocate the brake line, fitting holder, and the shock mounts, like I said. So that's what this is for. Now all we got to do is finish 86ing the old shock mounts. We already started over here. We just got to get the air chisel out. Then Flash is going to weld this sucker up. We'll probably put the shock mounts on first. That way we can do it on the table. And then weld it in. Then we'll do the brakes. Then we'll, we're getting close-ish. And then once this one's in, we're going to put another one back here. And then we're going to cut this old ugly cross member out and just have a couple of these pipe sections. Hopefully that's strong enough. New springs, wheel cylinders, shoes. And now we're all together on both sides. Gonna put the cleaned-ish and rebuilt and painted drums on. And next is who knows. Okay, so we've got the shock mounts on the new cross member and the new axle. Not the new axle, the newer looking axle. We relocated that, I don't know, brake line splitter, hold down doodad that used to be the job of the differential vent. I lost the damn cap. That's fine. So now that we are clean, dry, cool to the touch, we're going to touch up some of the paint stuff. And then that way we'll be able to finish the brake lines, put the shocks on, remove this cross member, put in the secondary tubular one. And at that point, it's done. All right, so we finally finished tying in the old brake lines to the replacement brake line to the S-10 brake line. We got them bledish. That's probably fine. But now we can finally start it up and back it out of the shop and just see how much we did wrong. New gear oil, new brake fluid, new shocks. Leaf springs are good. Drive shaft is good. I think we're officially ready to back this thing out.
Good deal.
Finally. Gonna back this thing out. How many days have we been working on this? 2? 20? I can't keep track. All right. We're about to make the maiden voyage here. Maybe. No pressure, Henry. Remember the fan?
Yeah.
He didn't remember the fan. so let's start with the drive shaft. I needed nothing to make that work. The factory S-10 drive shaft and U-joint bolted up directly to this Dana 70. Now, it may not be perfect, but that sumbug spins, and it got tight, and it was the same size as what it came off of. So, you don't have to spend any money to modify your drive shaft or to connect your drive shaft to your 1-ton rear axle. $0 there. Now, when it comes to your spring pads and U-bolts, you have a couple options. I was able to cut off the factory spring pads and move them in because they needed to be narrower, but I did have to buy new U-bolts. The old ones were rusted. I think I paid $20 for this set of brand new U-bolts. Much, much nicer. That was all I needed to make the Dana 70 leaf springs pair up to the S-10 frame. We took this guy, which was the front hanger and shackle, out of the motorhome, and we basically just cut away the shape of it from the S-10 frame and welded it directly to, because the front of the leaf spring bolted directly into the factory S-10 location. Easy peasy. Let's talk about shocks. Don't look. I didn't tape the inside of my inner wheel. Just don't look at it. I taped the outside. That'll come off. Promise. I paid $70 for new shocks. I probably could have used the old ones, but they looked worn out. I did buy these brackets. I'll leave a link to those. I bought all 4 of them. I think I probably paid, I don't know, $30 for the set. I'll leave a link to those, as well as the shocks. I did buy new hardware. You can probably get those anywhere. I went to a place called Bolt Depot. They are 1/2 inch diameter, 3 inches long. Just perfect. You probably could have gone 2 3/4, 2 5/8. But I like to have a few threads exposed. Now, keep in mind, one note on the bottom, I had to buy a sleeve because the hole in the bottom of the shock was like 5/8. It needs to be 1/2. So I bought those on Amazon also, and they fit in there perfectly. It's very good. I did have to shave this rubber part of the bottom lower shock mount down. It was too wide, but that's just soft rubber. I just hit it with the angle grinder. So shocks were $70. I spent like $10 on hardware, like $10 on the sleeves for the lower mounts, and like I said, $30 for the brackets. All in all, not bad. Let's get to the brakes. I could have left the brakes alone. The brakes probably could have been rehabbed. They didn't look like they were in bad shape. These old motorhomes don't have a ton of mileage on them, but I went ahead, since I had the axles out and had the hubs off, I went ahead and did all of that. Now, you don't have to. I think I spent $100 and change on brake parts. That was new shoes, new wheel cylinders, new adjusters, the spring kit. Everything inside that drum is brand new. I also spent $10 on a new hose. Now, here's the deal. From the factory, this Dana 70 is opposite. This whole rear section is flipped because where the master cylinder, well, where the line from the front is on the passenger side, on the S-10, it's on this side. So I just took the whole thing and flipped it. It used to mount to this rear axle vent. I just welded a bolt to the axle, and now that's where it mounts. I had to re-bend it a little bit, and it's not perfect, but it hooks up, it bled, they work, we're good. The only thing I had to buy to make this work, the only thing you'll need to buy, I would recommend the soft hose, and the fitting to go from the old Mopar threads to the newer S-10 threads. It's like, I'll caption over this what it was. I can't remember. It's like going from 3/8 to 7/16 or 7/16 to 3/8. I can't remember, but it's this little part right here. Got it on Amazon, a couple bucks. That's it. That the brakes are good. And that's literally everything that it takes. I spent more time just thinking, ordering parts, and waiting on them to come in than I actually did putting this together. This was a fairly simple swap. One that any slapdick can do in their garage in a weekend if you have the parts.
Well, I'm an idiot, and while editing this video, I realized I never did the total cost breakdown. So here we are, real quick, gonna run through it. Shocks, 70 bucks. Differential cover, I splurged here. Shouldn't have, but it looks cool. 120 bucks. The brakes, I spent 140 on total brakes. That includes the fitting from the S-10 to the Mopar. That includes the new brake line, the soft line, as well as the shoes, wheel cylinders, tensioners, spring kit, all that crap. 140 bucks total. The shock mounts and their hardware, so the 4 brackets, the metal sleeves, and the 4 nuts, bolts, and washer sets. Spent 60 bucks on those. Total. Okay, and the other thing, the big thing that I didn't even mention in the video, the axle itself. So I didn't pay anything for that axle. It came on the motorhome that I bought for the engine. But let's be realistic, most people aren't gonna have a 1-ton Dana 70 just lying around. I also bought another motorhome that the Cobra is sitting next to right now. I bought the entire motorhome with a complete drivetrain for $250. So I pay nothing. I'm gonna be realistic and say that most people don't have that. So you might have to spend $250 on an axle if you just shop around. If you can't find one, let me know. I'll sell you one for $250. So it's a thing. So all in, at the end of the day, we got a 1-ton dually conversion done for less than 650 bucks. That's pretty good.
So there you have it. She's done. We haven't taken her out on the road yet. She is tagged, but she's not insured right now because I knew she was going to be under the knife for a while. And we usually just use her around the property here. So it's going to be a while. I'm not going to insure it and take it out on the road until we get the rest of the stuff done. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a lean to it. We got to fix that. I have a new solid straight axle that we're going to put on the front. We're also going to build a whole custom, that just means homemade steel flatbed for this thing. Going to put our generator welder, our Lincoln Ranger on the back. We've also got to do stuff like fix the rockers and cab corners and stuff. So she's a long way from finished, but this was a major step. I couldn't really get started on the bed. Didn't want to do the front until this part was done. So this was a big deal. I searched and searched for information on how to do this before I started, and it wasn't there. So if nothing else, I hope somebody gets some benefit from this video. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching.